Welcome back, boys and girls. We've made it to day 4. Today's lesson is lesson 7, Recounting Stories. Our day 4 standard is RL2, which states, identify key events in a story, understand the proper sequence of events when retelling a story, recount a story by telling only the most important details from the beginning, middle, and end. Our learning target for today states, retell or recount stories from around the world by telling key events in the order in which they happened. Our academic talk words are recount, setting, sequence, events, character. When you recount a story, you are retelling the story in your own words. Be sure that you include the key details and events that happen in the beginning, middle, and end. Tell the events in the sequence or order in which they happen. Remember, recounting a story is retelling the story in your own words in sequence, beginning, middle, and end. Let's practice. Good storytellers take care to retell or recount the important events of the story in the order they happen. You can recount a story by telling the important events from the beginning, middle, and end. Read this story. Think about what happens at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. Our story's title is How the Elephant Got Its Long Nose. In the first frame, we see a little elephant standing by the water. It reads, a long time ago, elephants had short noses. But one day, a crocodile bit a young elephant on the nose. In the second frame, we see that there is a bit of a struggle. It reads, the elephant tried to pull away. As he pulled and pulled, his nose got longer and longer. In the third frame, we see the elephant with a very long nose, and it looks like he's spraying water on himself. It reads, when he pulled free, his nose was 5 feet long. He didn't like it at first. Then he found new things to do with his long nose. He reached into the trees to grab leaves to eat. Best of all, it was fun to take baths. Think about this story. What is the most important thing to happen in the story? In the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. Here we have a graphic organizer that will help us determine what happened at the beginning of the story, in the middle of the story, and at the end of the story. We're going to fill in this chart to tell the important story events in the order that they happened. Think about what happened in the beginning of the story, boys and girls. Yes, in the beginning of the story, it said that long ago elephants had short noses until a crocodile bit a young elephant on the nose. What happened in the middle? Of course, in the middle, when the young elephant tried to pull his nose out of the crocodile's mouth, his nose stretched. Very good. What happened at the end of the story? Of course, when he pulled his nose out of the crocodile's mouth, it was 5 feet long, and he learned to like it. Good job, boys and girls. We're going to have another opportunity to practice sequencing a story from the beginning to the middle and then to the end. Today you will read another folktale from another part of the world. First, you will read to understand what the story is about. Then you will reread it to identify the most important events and details in the story. Today's story is a Cherokee story. The Cherokee Nation is a group of Native Americans that had its own government. Today, there are over 300,000 Cherokee people in the Cherokee Nation. We're going to read this folktale, and we're going to discuss some things that are going to be important about this story. Before we begin, let's take a look at our sidebar for our close reader habits. It says, which details would you include to recount the story? Remember, another word for recount is retell. The important details have been underlined for you. So we're going to take a look at this story and see if we can come up with the correct answers to complete our questions for today. Let's take a look at the right side of the screen where our questions are. When you get ready to recount a story, you're going to choose the most important details. Number 1 will have us numbering the events in the order that they happened. Number 2 will have us answering a question about the story. And then we'll have a chance to discuss some things about the story with a partner. Let's get started. Our story's title is How the Bat Got Wings, a Cherokee Nation Tale. A long time ago, the bat was a tiny mammal. It had no wings. One day, the mammals and birds decided to play a game. The birds played on one team, and the mammals played on the other team. The bat wanted to play with the mammals, but the mammals laughed at her size. "You are too small," they said. So the bat asked to play with the birds. The birds said, "You don't have wings, but we can make you some out of a drum." The birds stretched the skin of a drum into wings. The birds put the wings on the bat and said, "Flap your wings." The bat jumped off a tree and flapped her wings, but she didn't fly in a straight line like the birds. Instead, she flew every which way in a crazy zigzag pattern. The birds let the bat play on their team. Just as she had done before, the bat flew in a crazy zigzag pattern. The mammals on the other team could not catch the bat. The bat scored the winning points for the birds. When the game was over, the mammals said, "Who is that superstar on your team?" The birds said, "It is the bat. We gave her wings." The mammals did not know what to say. After all, they had refused to let the tiny bat play on their team. The mammals had learned their lesson. From that day on, they let any animal of any size play on their team. Boys and girls, there is a theme here. Remember, a theme is a life lesson. What is the theme of this story? Discuss it with a friend or family member. Let's look at the questions. Number 1, number the items to show the order of some events in the story. Before we answer that question, let's look back at the story. Remember, we have underlined the most important details in the story. Those underlined sentences are there to help you answer the questions. And now number 1. Number the items to show the order of some events in the story. Boys and girls, what is the first thing that happened in this story? That's right. The first thing is the mammals do not let the bat play on their team. What is the second thing to happen in the story? You guessed it, the birds make wings for the bat. And so the third thing to happen is that the bat flies in a crazy zigzag pattern. Good job. Let's look at number 2. Why do the birds win the game? Is it A, The mammals cannot follow the bat's movements. B. The mammals are surprised to see the bat on the team. C. The mammals refuse to play against the bat. Or D. The birds fly in a crazy zigzag pattern. Boys and girls, let's look at some of these answers and think about it. Look at A. The mammals cannot follow the bat's movements. Boys and girls, if you think about it, in the story, the mammals didn't even know it was the bat. So that could be the answer. Let's look at B. The mammals are surprised to see the bat on the team. We just said that the mammals did not know it was the bat. So that probably won't be our answer. Let's look at C. The mammals refuse to play against a bat. The mammals did refuse to play with the bat, but they didn't know that they were playing against the bat, did they? So we know that can't be the answer. Let's look at D. The birds fly in a crazy zigzag pattern. Boys and girls, was it the bird that was flying in the zigzag pattern? Oh, no, it was not. So D can't possibly be our answer. So now we have narrowed it down to our final choice. So what is the answer, boys and girls? That's right. Our answer is answer choice A. Good job. Number 3. Using key details from the text, talk to a partner or someone in your home about how the bat's way of flying helps the birds win. Remember, you can pause this video at any time to go back if you need to review any part of the story. So let's review. When you recount a story, you are retelling the story in your own words. Be sure to include the key details and events that happen in the beginning, middle, and end. Tell the events in the sequence or order in which they happened. Remember, our recounting a story means retelling the story in your own words in sequence, beginning, middle, and end. Boys and girls, we've made it to our exit ticket. It's a short response. In your own words, recount what happens when the bat plays the game with the birds. Be sure to include the most important details from the story. Remember, you can review the game in paragraphs 5 to 8. Good luck, boys and girls. You will find the exit ticket link right below this video. Remember, you're answering in complete sentences with evidence from the text. Good luck.